You know what time it is? It's time to build. Let's go. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Brickanics. It's good to see you here. Thanks for stopping by to watch this video. I'm excited. Today we are building Sundari, which is the capital of Mandalore. It's going to be a small 32 by 32 build. We're going to do it all in one video. But man, I'm excited to feature Bo-Katan in this build, a few Death Watch minifigures going up against a few Mandalorian loyalists. We're not basing this build off anything from the Clone Wars. Basically, I'm just kind of making this up, but we have Bo-Katan infiltrating Sundari with a few Death Watch warriors, and they are going to be looking to gather some intel on Duchess Satine. They encounter a few Mandalorian loyalists, and there's a skirmish. So that should be pretty exciting. So far, I've been able to build out some pavement or sidewalk area based off some images and some patterns that you might see in the city of Sundari. And so that's basically what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna draw some inspiration from some of these images that you're seeing right now. We're gonna pull together a little staircase. I'm gonna add a couple, buildings, based off the architecture that I see. I'm really excited to dive into some of this architecture. I hope I have the pieces to do it justice. I think I do, but nonetheless, we're going to build it out and do the best that we can. I also want to build a couple of these trees that you see in Sundari as well. Again, I'm not sure if I have the right pieces, but we'll do the best that we can. So why don't we go ahead and continue building. We have a problem. Here's the issue. So far, so good as far as the architecture goes. We're using these trans clear light blue pieces, and right now you can see that light blue hue there, and it's okay for Mandalore. The issue is that when I go and close this off, it's gonna be dark in there, and then you're not gonna be able to see the color. And so the idea that I had was to place, some white bricks, or in this case, because this is what I have, white plates behind it. It's not terrible, but it washes that blue out to where you really can't see it all that well. So then the idea I had, based on the pieces that I have, was maybe to throw a blue piece behind it, which isn't terrible, and maybe could be the option that I go with. I also have these turquoise pieces, which that might not be a bad idea. Doesn't look terrible, looks pretty good. The issue is you can really kind of see those studs coming through there. So I have to see. I have a lot more of these than other pieces, but I could go with this idea as far as putting these trans dark blue pieces on here. And I think that looks really good for Mandalore. I think that might even be the best option for Mandalore right there. The challenge with using these is all of those pieces are here on the Endor MOC. So I'd have to pull those all up to use them in my Mandalore MOC. Oh man, it's not something I really want to do. But I really feel like that looks the best. And it's harder to see the studs in there. Alright, I guess that's the route I'm gonna go, so let's keep working. Alright guys, here's our progress so far, and I think everything is turning out pretty good. I'm liking the shape of everything here. I love these stairs. I think that turned out great. I like this little bit here that wraps around up to this patio. We worked in some foliage, which is pretty accurate to what you would see on Sundari, as well as, you know, the tan that's kind of sporadically placed around the MOC is pretty accurate as well. I did swap out, you know, that light bluish gray that I built in here. It just didn't look that great. And then we added just a little bit of detail right here. I mean, every single picture that I see of, you know, Sundari, I'm looking for details and I just don't see anything. It's a pretty plain city that's just based on plain geometry, which I kind of like, but it doesn't make for the most interesting MOC when it comes to details on a smaller scale MOC like this. So to change that, we're going to have to do a little bit of detail on the back with some different shapes and adding in some more of these, you know, windows here. So what we're going to do is add a door right here and some windows back here. That's kind of like the next phase. And then the phase after that is to build it up one more level. So let's go ahead and knock out that phase right here. Nice. So that's what we've gotten built so far. And yeah, I'm liking this front area here. This little design is just something I saw on an image and I thought it would be cool to try and work that in. You know, this back here, I'm not necessarily sure what the doors look like on Sundari. All I know is I don't have enough pieces to make it blue back there, and I just wanted it to kind of be dark. I was thinking about dark bluish gray back there just to make it look like the entranceway went into a hole, but I ultimately decided to go with a light bluish gray to provide more color and contrast to the MOC overall. So I think at the end of the day that works out pretty good. And then in this tall part here, you know, we just worked in, you know, snot as far as that goes, you know, building tiles on those plates, and that's a nice little mix that provides a little bit of extra design. And you know, using these pieces, I think they're called ingot pieces, you know, I think works out pretty well. And then just the pattern that's built in with the tiles, I think helps provide some additional detail in the build. Over here we were able to add in, you know, some windows, and this is where it really becomes clear as far as those studs on those back white plates. It is what it is. I'm just going to move forward with it in this build. I'll learn from it when I revisit, you know, Mandalore and Sundari again, which I will. So we'll get the right pieces for that in a future build. So really good progress so far. What we're going to do right now is I want to build a bump out, sort of something like this, right up here. And then over here, I've seen some cool, you know, designs with the blue behind it that I want to work in there and bring it up about this tall. So why don't we go ahead and knock that out? Then we'll get some minifigures on here and we'll be golden. So let's get back to work. I'll be honest, guys, this turned out a lot better than I might have thought it would about halfway through this video. Overall, the end product, I'm happy with how this turned out. Is it perfect? No, I think that I would have liked to work in a little bit more light bluish gray in certain areas. The windows aren't perfect. I think they're better than I gave them credit for. I think they look pretty good as a whole. So I'm not, upset about that totally, but I might do it differently in the future. But, these trees, they're really accurate to the trees on Sundari, which are landscaped, or pruned, or however you want to call it, to be more square. So I think that turned out to be really good. The minifigure placement on here I think is pretty decent. Just love the Bo-Katan minifigure. I could have gone with more. I was going to go with more minifigures on here, but ultimately less is more, I feel, in this particular build, and I didn't want to crowd the build itself with minifigures. I just wanted to have enough to tell the story and really allow you to view the MOC itself. All in all, I think the amount of detail in this feels to me accurate to Sundari. Maybe there's more detail than what the animations would lead you to believe, and maybe there's an interpretation of a more detailed, Sundari that could be had. But based on all the pictures that I saw, it's pretty plain, and it's just focused on the square type of geometry throughout the build, with some little details worked in here, around that I think make it look pretty decent. I think we were pretty accurate to how the build was, and overall, I can't wait to get these pictures onto Instagram. I think that's going to look great, especially when I cut this out and have the black background. I think that's going to look really cool. Alright guys, well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed that build. It was a bit of a roller coaster, but at the end of the day, I'm really happy with the way that it turned out, and I think I learned a lot from this build that I can apply into future Mandalore builds, because I'll definitely be revisiting this planet. I think it's a really cool planet. The city of Sundari is super cool, and I think there's some different ways you can build out that city to really come up with some cool Lego creations. So if you are into Lego, Star Wars Lego custom creations, and you want to see some other projects that I have, make sure to hit the subscribe button. If you liked this video, make sure you hit the like button. It certainly helps other people find these videos. Down in the description, there's links to a lot of the camera gear that I use and other types of gear that I use to make these videos. You can connect with me on other social sites. I got links down in the description to Instagram, where I share a lot of content. I'm really pretty active on Instagram, so that'd be another great place to connect with me. I have a link to my website, which is an archive of all the projects that I've kind of built to date. There's also some merchandise on there if you're into, t-shirts. Summer's coming, so I have some Brickanics t-shirts you might be interested in. And outside of that, if you made it to the end of this video, you're a beast, and I want to thank you so much for that. You don't know how much it helps to watch the whole video all the way through to the end, and I want to thank you for doing that. And thank you so much for your support as always. You guys have an awesome day, and I will see you in the next build. Later.